What is up, Need for Speed Racers? It is I, your wheelman, Alex Cornnut. We're here with episode 2 of $1 Billion Builds, where I build every car in the game for you in every class that it can fit, so that way no matter what you want to drive, I've got you taken care of the best way that I know how. Today's episode, we are building the 1976 Volkswagen Golf GTI, the little rabbit, the hatchy boy, in all of the classes. This car is overhyped in a lot of the higher tiers. It's built wrong in a lot of the lower tiers, and so we're going to settle a lot of things today. I'm going to throw a little bit of shade, and we're going to have some fun with it. But at the end of the day, if you're looking for the right build for this car, I've got you set. Let's dig into it. I've got B-Class in front of us. This is one I've already had on the channel for a while. I'm pretty happy with it. I made one little change from the previous build because I've got preferences now, and at this point, you're going to get what I like and then change it later if you don't like it. So let's dig into it. For the B-Class setup, the engine that we are building on is the 4.3 liter V8. It is the first engine in the lineup. 162 brake horsepower when we start, and we pretty much double it from there. For the parts, you're going to do Pro Silver Induction. You're going to do Iron Basic ECU and Iron Basic Fuel System, keeping both of those stock. You're going to do Sport Bronze Exhaust. And then in this build, which is different than the previous one, you're going to do Super Gold Screw Supercharger. Before, we were doing the roots, but I wanted to fit the screw, so that's where we're at today. And then in this setup, you do get to run a Silver Pro bottle of nitrous. In the B-Class, 130 miles per hour is the cap. As soon as you make any part on the car take it above 130, when you have a lot of horsepower, it immediately jumps your class up. And so that's how we get some of these cheese builds. We put a ton of power into it, but then set the cap at 130 and it stays in the class some magical way. It's just Need for Speed things. So that being the case, we had some extra room to put some nitrous in it. You are going to run, like most of the builds, that Elite Platinum Road suspension. Don't worry about the brakes, keep them stock at that Iron Basic. And then you're going to run Elite Platinum Grip tires. Full Gripium in the Golf. It's Golfium life. Make sure you guys are setting it up that way. The clutch is the Iron Basic. And then the transmission is the 4-speed Sport Bronze Tranny. So make sure you do switch that out. Because as soon as you change it to anything that goes faster than that, like 138 miles an hour with the 5-speed, it puts it right into A+ class. So like I was talking earlier, that 130 is the cap. As soon as you take it above that, just by changing the transmission, it takes it way out of the class. So that's the deal, guys. We are running the Elite Platinum differential in this setup, but guys, if you're trying to ball on a budget, you can run the Sport Bronze diff. You do need to put at least one differential tier in it, but if you want to save some money, you can do that. But because we're doing $1 billion builds out here, I bought all the parts. All right, auxiliary, if you want to do that, make sure you reset them. I have a video on the channel regarding that. Every time you switch cars, the auxiliaries stop working unless you go into this parts screen and access those auxiliaries, and then they will work until you switch cars again. So if you switch cars mid-playlist or anything, they stop. So just be aware of that, you guys. Outside of that, I run drift and grip. Everything else is pretty standard. Handling on this one, 95% grip. It's the only way to get this car to be B159. 100% grip takes you to A160 no matter what you do. So make sure that you got your handling slider at 95%. Steering sensitivity, I run 2 clicks high. That's personal preference. Downforce, you can run all the way low or all the way high. Anywhere on that slider, that is personal preference. In B-Class, I'm going to run it all the way low to try to get a little bit more out of the acceleration side. Traction control is off, and drift entry is brake tapped. The car is okay at B-Class. There's a lot of other better cars. RSR being one of them for sure. We'll get there eventually. It's not a cheese build. It doesn't have nearly as much horsepower as some of the other cars we can cram in here. It's no Testarossa, that's for damn sure. But it does do okay. So if you're looking to run the Golf at B-Class, it'll get it done for you. 295 horsepower and 420 foot-pounds of torque. Foot-pounds, not Newton meters. Make sure you guys are doing the conversion correctly. If you build a car and you're like, oh, my car's got more torque than yours, Cornnut, it must be a better build. Make sure we're running on the same calculations. Outside of that, that is B-Class. Let me show you what we've got set up for A-Class. For A-Class, I had to make a new build because we didn't have one on the channel, and I fell into the trap. I was testing different engines, I was out on the highway doing my stuff, and I got the Golf to go like 185. I was like, whoa, what the hell? This is so fast. It's faster than the Rosa. This might be meta. No, it's not. I burned an hour on this A-Class Golf trying to get this mythical new meta build, and it doesn't go in a race. You can get it on the highway, but if you can't get it to go that fast in a race, it's not viable. Thus, I've got an A-Class build for you that is actually obtainable. It's mid as hell, and that's why there's never been a build for A-Class on the channel, but we're here anyway. So for the options, guys, on the A-Class Golf, there's 3 different engines you can choose from. This 1.6 liter i4 is the one I got going really fast, but it's really not very good for racing. So then it comes down to the 2 engines. You can do the 4.3 liter V8 or the 4.9 liter. Between the two, the 4.9's got a little more horsepower, about 10, but it's got about 26 less torque. The 4.3 liters got a little less horsepower, but it does have more torque. That's what I've got equipped. I'm gonna say go ahead and do the 4.3 liter V8. It's easier to fit in the class. You don't have to take as much grip out of it, so overall it seems to be the best fit. And between the two, they're so similar, I hardly noticed. So for the 4.3 liter V8 build for A-Class, it is Iron Basic, it is Sport Bronze, it is Iron Basic, and then Elite Platinum Roots Supercharger, Sport Bronze Nitrous, Elite Platinum Road Suspension, Iron Basic Brakes, and Elite Platinum Grip Tires. Iron Basic Clutch, and then for the transmission you put the Silver Pro 6-speed transmission in it. The reason we do that is because the other 2 transmissions beneath it actually improve the 0 to 60 time, thus putting it higher tier in the class. So make sure you put the Silver Pro in there, and then you're gonna run the Elite Platinum differential. At least that's what I have, but guys, honestly, you can run the Sport Bronze if you're trying to ball on a budget and save some money. Auxiliary, do whatever you want to do there. And then for the handling on this one, you guys, it is a 75% grip build. That's the difference between this engine and the other engine. The other one you had to run like 55%. So this is get a little more grip out of it. So 75% grip, steering sensitivity, you do you, and then downforce all the way high. Slide that slider all the way to the right. That is going to be your best bet. It's the last 3 clicks. I think all the way high is probably going to be good because you're taking a lot of grip out of it. But if you want to run it there, you can do that as well. It's up to you. A-Class, it's pretty mid. B's not bad. A sucks. A plus is kind of cracked. We've got a world record setter there. Traction control is off. Drift entry is brake tap. A-Class kind of a wash, but let me show you what A plus does because that's actually pretty decent. A plus class, there's 2 different ways you can set up the car. I'm going to show you both. One's got a higher top speed, better tires, but less grip, not as much NOS. So stick with me, I'll show you both. I'm going to show you the faster one first. I'm kind of leaning into it a little more, but at the end of the day, the other cars actually got the world record or the crew record on our tracks. So that's probably better, but I still kind of prefer this one. Going into it, the engine that we're going to use is the last engine over. It is the 2.4 or 2.0 liter inline 4, 366 brake horsepower when we start. So make sure you go all to the right, grab that last engine. For the parts, it's Elite Platinum, all of it. So it's Elite Platinum induction, Elite Platinum ECU, Elite Platinum fuel system, and Elite Platinum exhaust. You're going to pair all of that up with the Elite Platinum Sentry. That allows us to actually put the power down. If we do any of the other forced inductions, you spin a lot more, so this allows you to get a little bit more power to the road. Now, where this build is different from the other one is we do run Sport Bronze Nitrous, Elite Platinum Off-Road Suspension, Iron Basic Brakes, and Elite Platinum Off-Road Tires. Iron Basic Clutch, and then you're going to put the 5-speed transmission in it. You can do the 4, but the 5 gives you 10 mile an hour extra on the big end. I prefer that. I think it kind of just gives you a little bit more catch-up ability or breakaway ability, depending on what track. Lawn climb being the one where this one does really well. For the differential, you guys can do at least the Sport Bronze is what I'd recommend, but I've got Elite Platinum in the car. Auxiliary, whatever. For the handling, 40% grip is the difference between this setup and the other one, so For the faster build of the two with the better top speed, 40% grip, steering sensitivity is U, and the downforce is right in the middle. You can increase the downforce, there's a handful of slots there, but you can't go less. Everywhere else is S-Class. So in the middle or to the right, that's up to you. I'd say the middle is probably the best spot for this. Traction control off, drift entry, that's brake tap. Now the world record setting build, the crew record that we have here, what you're going to do is you're going to go throw in the Pro bottle of NOS. You will go and you will put on off-road gold tires, so super gold off-roads, and then by doing that you can go and you put on the other transmission, which is the 4-speed transmission, and then for the handling you can slide that slider way to the right and then make sure your downforce is higher. So you're going to be 90% grip on your handling, steering sensitivities, whatever, and then your downforce is the last 3 clicks. So 1, 2, 3 right there. That is a 269. 165 mile an hour is going to be your top speed with this setup. Like I said, on some of the tracks I like to have a little higher top speed. That's why I run that other build with the other transmission. But this setup here is what the crew record was set in. It's very fast. It definitely does well on like track day special and some of the other ones in A+ class. 658 for the horsepower, that's the same for both builds, and 568 for your torque. This thing goes. There are some scuffed builds for this. You put a V8 motor in it, you can put tons of horsepower, but it's not actually faster. We were not able to set faster lap times with that setup, so I'm not bringing those to you. So guys, if you get out there and you're like, oh, Cornnut, my Golf is better. We baited other content creators with this before the tournament. We showed people that, hey, look, here's a V8 build with lots of power. I flashed it on stream. Other content creators put it out. And then, lo and behold, when it actually came down to tournament play, this is the build that is the fast one because you can put the power down and it's just the right combination of parts for this setup in A+ class. So don't be deceived. More power is not always more better if you can't put it down to the road. So this is kind of one of those special examples to where the right combination really does make the difference. And this is the setup that we've got. Let me show you what we've got for S-Class. S-Class is scuffed. I've had multiple people come to me and say, I've got a Golf that will beat you in S-Class. I actually have 1v1 some of these people. Guys, the Golf is a meme car. It's really not that great. Unless you are a Golf driver, you know the lines, you are cracked sideways. It's really a very hard car to be fast in. It just has ridiculous stats and so therefore more better. But let's be real. I very rarely get beat by a Golf, and if I am getting beat by the Golf, it's because my man Luscious is driving it, not because it's a good car. But anyway, let me show you what we've got. The two engines that are the only viable ones in S-Class are both the V8s. The 4.9 liter V8 is far superior. You'll see that between the two, it's got about 100 more horsepower and about 200 foot-pounds of torque, so it's considerably better on those stats. So the parts for the 4.9 liter V8, straight across the board, Elite Platinum for the first 4, and then you're going to put an Elite Platinum Turbo in it. We have no problem with torque. This car has got more than it can handle. It burns the wheels off the car the entire time. So we go to the single turbo because it gives us a little more horsepower, which is going to help you with that top speed. We run Sport Bronze Nitrous because you definitely don't need it. The car can't handle the power anyway. And then we run Elite Platinum Off-Road Suspension, Iron Basic Brakes, and then Super Gold Off-Road Tires. If you want to take some of the power out and take some of the traction out, you can run the Elite Platinum off-roads. But really, at the end of the day, you guys, you have to have the good off-road lines. You need to know how to drive the car. You probably need to be running a manual transmission. And this is nothing I'm going to recommend for you S-Class players. There's so many actual good cars that this is a meme machine. But everybody always buys it and builds it and then wonders why they're losing. But anyway, here we are. You're going to run Iron Basic Clutch, and then definitely the Super Gold 7-speed transmission. The A+ Golf is remarkably close to this build, but it's not good, so I don't show you guys that. But if you want to dabble, you guys can get close to it. You just need to change some of your tires around. For the handling on this one, it's 100% grip. You need it. It doesn't matter what you do. The car just spins through the first 6 gears, always. Steering sensitivity, that's you, whatever you want. It's 2 or 3 clicks from center is your downforce. So if you go 1, 2, or 3, that is S329 for you. Don't do this. Don't build this. It's not good. It's fast, but it's hard to drive. You'll get walked by somebody that knows what they're doing. Traction control is off, and drift entry is brake tap. Quick little story for S-Class. I was the world record holder on rapid transit in the 1971 Skyline GTR. It's one of my favorite cars. I love it. Very fast in that car. A person was like, hey, my Golf is faster than your Skyline on rapid. Let's 1v1. I'm like, it's not, but okay. It's something I want everybody to understand. Most of you won't make it this far in the video, so it doesn't matter. If you did stay, you're the real ones. Guys, we've built every car in this game every way that we can, and really done a lot of testing with those cars to try to find what the meta cars are to always be pushing those lap times down with the fastest drivers in the game. So when you've got world record setting, world-class drivers with a build team that has an unlimited budget that is just looking for every ounce of performance we can get out of a car, and there's only 140 cars in the game and a lot of them suck, so it's really easy very quickly to tell if they're not going to work. You get to a point to where, yeah, we've built every car in the class. So please, for the love of God and my sanity, don't ever come to me and be like, I've got a new Golf. It's really fast. It's super cracked. I beat people all the time. No, you beat drivers all the time. You don't beat other cars. If you're beating a Regera in a Golf, you beat the driver. You didn't beat the Regera. It's Omega, the best car in S+ class. Most of the other cars are better in S class. There's some isolated races where this one does okay, but you need to know the lines. Most people don't. And so that being said, my brothers in Christ, spare me. I don't care about your Golf. I've already built it. Alright, let's go to S+, because that's a meme. This will be fun. The S+ Golf is such a banger, dude. It just inspired me to get my awesome shades and my super fast Sonic the Hedgehog hat, dude, because we are out here stunting. The Golfium is premium, bro. Game is a par 6, and I'm a hole-in-one before I even show up with my Golf, because I golf, you know what I'm saying, dude? So this slays all cars. Regeras are just pieces of shit in comparison to how good this is, and if you build this, it will literally make your dick bigger or your boobs larger depending on what gender you are. And if you don't label as a gender, that's fine too. Your binary code goes up because you're non-binary, however that works. Anyway, so here we are. The engine that you build is going to be the 4.9 liter V8. It's got the same horsepower as the S class. Weird. All we did was put different tires on it because that's all you can really do. With the parts, Elite Platinum, all of it, in addition to the single turbo, which is what you want for the highest top speed, you're also going to do Elite Platinum Nitrous. You're going to do Elite Platinum off-road suspension. You're going to do Elite Platinum brakes, but who needs brakes? We don't even stop this train. We're going so fast. Toot toot! Elite Platinum grip tires, or drift tires, or off-road tires, or road tires. It doesn't matter. Any tires you want. The Golf is so good, it slays. Regeras, you don't even need tires. Where we're going, we don't even need roads, dude. And then Elite Platinum clutch, but who needs clutch? You're gonna go boom, boom, boom into 7th gear and leave it in 7th the entire race because it burns the tires no matter what you've got. But anyway, you can put that on because more expensive means more better. 7-speed transmission if you so do choose. Otherwise, you can do the 4-speed transmission. We slay Regeras. It doesn't matter. S+ Golf, S+ Golf, S+ Golf. It's so fucking good. And then Elite Platinum differential because you absolutely want to have the best parts in S-Class, dude. It's so fucking good. And then auxiliaries. We don't need auxiliaries. I don't know how to equip auxiliaries. It doesn't matter. I'm an S+ Golf driver. So honestly, I slay with this car. It's so goddamn good. Top speed 222, but it'll do like 295. Easy clap, dude. Easy clap. 1204 for the horsepower, 1358 on the torque. We are correct. 9.9 quarter mile because that obviously matters, and 3.40 to 60. The best car in the game. It's so great. Oh my god. Alright, for real, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. I appreciate all of you. If this offended you, you're the type of person that I dislike talking to in the comments because, honestly, S+ Golf drivers, This car is such a meme. It kills me. It's not good, you guys. Don't drive it. There's so many better cars in the game. There's a reason this doesn't hold a record in anything in S-Class or S-Plus class. You guys have a great rest of your day. See you next time. Bye-bye.